But it's Crazy Kevin with you, and do you know what? I've got an amazing guest in the studio with us today. I've got to say a big hello to Mantist. Hey, Mantist, tell us a little bit about yourself. What a great name first. How did you get the name?
I got the name from the word Mantist.
The Mantist?
No, my name used to be Manasseh, but I created my own name, Mantist.
Fantastic. And listen, I've got to say, you've got a fantastic accent. Whereabouts are you from?
I'm from a country called Sudan in East Africa. Used to be the biggest country in Africa, but now it's divided, so yeah, Sudan.
Oh, so how long have you been in Australia now then?
I've been in Australia for around 9 years now.
And whereabouts in Australia are you?
Brisbane.
What's it like? Is Brisbane nice? Because we're in Toowoomba, you see. Is Brisbane good?
I love Brisbane. The weather, the laid back, it's just brilliant.
Don't talk about the weather, Mantist, because it's a bit cold today, okay?
Toowoomba is just killing me. It's too cold for me.
Well, I came to Australia. I've been living in the Middle East, and I came without any jackets. I had to get one jacket quickly, you see, because it's cold.
I can't bear the cold. That's why I love Brisbane.
Well, listen, we're here to talk all about your beautiful music. Come on, how did you get into music?
Well, I started music just a matter of expressing myself. As always, hip-hop is all about expressing yourself. So I figured, if I could get a chance to speak in conferences and everything, that could have been easy, but that's impossible. So I figured, okay, the best way is to just, write my own thing, get the gig going, and express myself.
How old were you when you first started writing?
Straight up when I know how to write, I already started writing. So that's when I was 9 years old.
And have you got anybody you look up to? Any musicians or anything?
Back when I was in refugee camp, that's where I started all my music and journey. I was inspired by some of the real musicians who put life into beat. The music they tell touched me. So I figured, okay, if I could touch people that way with my music, that could be good. So I was pretty much inspired by the American hip hop.
Come on, name some of the artists. Who do you like?
People like Eminem, people like Tupac. Those are my first people who, Tupac, for example, whatever he speak, it was like he was living where I was living. Even though he was in America, all his words just touched me deeply, exactly the life I was living.
So the words went from America all the way to Africa?
America, they talk about ghetto in America, but we were living in a refugee camp, a straight up rough ghetto life, So that music just related to me 100%.
So you started doing poetry as well. So the poetry, how do you put the music with the poetry? Do you know in your head what music will go with this poetry?
With poetry, I write poems separately and I write music, which is lyrics separately. But there's a time when I can turn lyrics, into poem and poem into lyrics. So just a matter of thinking of the subject, It's all about what you feel inside at a time.
Fantastic. Well, listen, can I ask you, can you do one of your poems for us?
For sure.
Oh, thank you.
So this one is just like, again, what we call storytelling time, but this one gonna be a cappella spoken word. Hey yo, check this out. I used to live by the park, kinda get scared when dark, so gotta watch your back. We got some loud and a crack ready to attack. You must have some gut if you got cast to be part of this suburb. Man, we been abandoned, come on. You can't call this home, this other town. Never safe at night, no street light. They like to break a fight, involve glass and knife. If you never bite or be bite, you might be never outside. Around here, nothing nice. We live next door to crackhead. They stay up late, I must say busted. For God's sake, we never sleep. I wish they quit or keep it easy a little bit. On the street, another shit. Man, what kind of life is this? Just last week, the break a friend needs. Now on a wheelchair. Life ain't fair here, we went there, trying to pay back. What's up with that? We stuck in the dark.
Wow, Mantist. Wow, straight from the heart.
There's a time when I consider myself a journalist from the third world. Or a journalist on the beat. Just bring a true story on the beats, and that's what we do.
So you were 9 years of age when you left, is that correct? When you left Sudan?
I left Sudan when I was 6, spent about 8 years in a refugee camp. Yeah, long time.
So that's a lot of life for a young person.
That's right. So I completed all my primary school in a rough condition of refugee camp. Then, you know, came here.
Wow.
But the good news is I'm a survivor. I survived.
Fantastic. And you've got an album. You brought an album out.
So when I got here, straight I got, you know, with the opportunity and everything, access to all the resources. That's when I got really serious. I made an album called Out of Poverty into the Glory. It's a very dark album, full of story, full of anger, full of energy. It's nothing commercial about it, but, you know, straight from the heart.
And how can people have a listen to that or get hold of that?
People can buy the album, only $15 on my website, which is www.mantistmusic.com.
How do you spell Mantist? Make sure everybody knows how to spell Mantist.
M-A-N-T-I-S-T. Mantist.
Mantist. Yes. Ah. And you've also got some new songs out. You've done a song for the flood. Is that right?
Yeah. You know, like, you know, after I completed my first album, Out of Poverty to the Glory, I went to school and studied humanities. That really gave me a very good overview into looking life in a very different side. I used to stuck in the blame, you know, all about the blame, but studying humanities got me thinking about, okay, you know what, it's not about the blame, but it's about finding solution. So that's why my second album, you know, it's all about lifting people up.
So it's a bit more happy than the first album.
Happy, there's some love song there.
Oh, love songs as well, yeah!
You know, people might think hip-hop, love song in hip-hop, what are you talking about? But, you know, we just put a bit of love there too, it's cool.
Wow, and listen, Mantist, we're going to tell everybody in the Toowoomba area that you're going to be here on the 19th of June, is that right?
Straight up, you know, you'll see what the Mantist is all about, you know, doing it live.
Fantastic. Now, how else can anybody get it? Have you got your website? Have you got your Facebook or anything?
My website, which is www.mantistmusic.com. There's a link there that can link you to Facebook, or you can just type Mantist on Facebook. I'm the only one with that name.
Oh, what a great name!
Yeah. So if you can Google Mantist or just search Mantist on Facebook, you can become friends, you know, and I will keep you in touch with what's going on.
Mantist, thank you for donating your time for the interview and coming up for the Youth Day. We're going to be chatting more about the Youth Day coming up in the next few days on the radio. Mantist, good luck for the future.
Thank you for having me.